the heavy metal that pounded the Axis into submission. From American fortresses darkening German skies to British Lancasters breaking the Ruhr dams, Allied bombers transformed warfare forever. These weren't just aircraft. They were flying battleships, each mission a roll of the dice against flak and fighters. Thousands of young men climbed aboard knowing they might never return. This is every Allied bomber of World War II. Heavy bombers, strategic bombardment. Let's begin with the heavy hitters. The four-engine giants built to carry the war deep into enemy territory. Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress, the most iconic American bomber of the war. This high-altitude fortress bristled with up to 1350 caliber machine guns, earning its legendary nickname through sheer defensive firepower. Over 12,500 were built, dropping more bombs on Europe than any other American aircraft. Its ability to absorb punishment and still bring crews home became the stuff of legend, with some aircraft returning to base with catastrophic damage that should have been fatal. Consolidated B-24 Liberator, the most produced American military aircraft in history, with over 18,000 built. This long-range heavy bomber featured a distinctive twin-tail design and innovative Davis wing that gave it exceptional range and payload capacity. It served in every theater, from the oil fields of Ploiești to the Pacific island hopping campaigns. Despite being less glamorous than the B-17, the Liberator actually dropped more bombs and flew more missions than its famous cousin. Boeing B-29 Superfortress, the most advanced bomber of World War II and the most expensive weapons project of the entire war. This pressurized, high-altitude giant could fly higher, faster, and farther than anything else in the sky. It brought Japan to its knees through devastating firebombing campaigns that destroyed entire cities. On August 6 and 9, 1945, two B-29s named Enola Gay and Boxcar delivered the atomic bombs that ended the war. Avro Lancaster, Britain's legendary heavy bomber and the backbone of RAF Bomber Command. This four-engine masterpiece could carry the largest bombs of the war, including the massive 22,000-pound Grand Slam earthquake bombs. Lancasters flew over 150,000 missions, dropping more than 600,000 tons of bombs on Germany. The famous Dambusters raid used specially modified Lancasters to skip bouncing bombs across reservoir surfaces, breaching German dams in a single night. Hanley Page Halifax, the Lancasters' less famous sibling, but a devastatingly effective bomber nonetheless. This robust four-engine aircraft served not just as a bomber but also in coastal patrol, glider towing, and special operations roles. Over 6,000 were built, flying 75,000 bombing missions over Europe. While overshadowed by the Lancaster, Halifax crews appreciated its ability to absorb battle damage and keep flying. Short Stirling, Britain's first four-engine heavy bomber of the war, entering service in 1941. Despite its impressive size and heavy defensive armament, design compromises limited its ceiling to just 17,000 feet, making it vulnerable to flak and fighters. It suffered the highest loss rate of any RAF heavy bomber, leading to its gradual withdrawal from bombing operations by 1944. Many were converted to glider tugs and transport aircraft, where they served with distinction during D-Day and Operation Market Garden. Vickers Wellington, the geodetic wonder that carried the RAF through the early war years. This twin-engine medium-to-heavy bomber featured a revolutionary basket-weave frame structure that could absorb incredible battle damage. Wellingtons flew the first RAF bombing raid of the war and remained in frontline service until 1943. Over 11,000 were built, serving in every theater from Europe to North Africa to the Far East. Medium bombers, the versatile workhorses. Moving on to the medium bombers, twin-engine aircraft that balanced payload, range, and maneuverability. North American B-25 Mitchell, the most versatile medium bomber of the war, equally deadly at high altitude or on the deck. This twin-engine aircraft gained instant fame in the Doolittle raid, when 16 Mitchells launched from an aircraft carrier to strike Tokyo in April 1942. Nearly 10,000 were built, serving with devastating effectiveness in every theater. Some versions mounted up to 18 forward-firing machine guns, turning them into fearsome strafers that shredded ground targets. Martin B-26 Marauder, the Widowmaker that became one of the safest bombers in American service. Early high-wing loading and short wingspan made it notoriously difficult to fly, earning its grim nickname during training. But once crews mastered it, the Marauder proved exceptionally fast and accurate, eventually achieving the lowest loss rate of any American bomber in Europe. Over 5,000 were built, and those who flew it swore by its speed and survivability. Douglas A-20 Havoc. Known to the British as the Boston. A fast, agile attack bomber that excelled at low-altitude strikes. This twin-engine aircraft served with American, British, Soviet, and French forces, proving its worth in every theater. Soviet pilots particularly loved it, receiving nearly 3,000 under Lend-Lease. Its speed and maneuverability made it ideal for intruder missions, hitting enemy airfields and transportation networks under cover of darkness. Douglas A-26 Invader. The bomber that arrived late but stayed for decades. Entering service in 1944, this sleek twin-engine aircraft was so advanced it remained in American service through Korea and Vietnam. It combined the speed of a fighter with the payload of a medium bomber, along with devastating forward firepower. Many consider it the finest American medium bomber of the war, though it arrived too late to make a decisive impact. Petlyakov P-2. The Soviet Union's outstanding dive bomber and the most produced twin-engine bomber in Soviet service. Over 11,000 of these fast, maneuverable aircraft were built, serving as bombers, reconnaissance planes, and even heavy fighters. Soviet crews called it Peshka, the Pawn, and it proved devastatingly effective in ground attack and tactical bombing roles. Its performance rivaled many contemporary fighters, making it a difficult target for interceptors. Ilyushin IL-4. The long-range backbone of Soviet strategic bombing, crude but effective. This twin-engine bomber struck targets deep in German territory, including the famous raid on Berlin in August 1941. Over 5,000 were built, many using wood construction to conserve strategic materials. While lacking the sophistication of Western designs, it got the job done with typical Soviet pragmatism. Tupolev Tu-2. The finest Soviet bomber of the war, fast enough to outrun many fighters. This elegant twin-engine aircraft entered service late in 1942 but quickly proved itself superior to everything else in Soviet service. It combined speed, payload, and defensive firepower in a remarkably effective package. Had it arrived earlier, it would have revolutionized Soviet tactical aviation. British medium bombers. The RAF workhorses. Britain's medium bomber fleet. These twin-engine aircraft bore the brunt of early bombing campaigns. Bristol Blenheim. The bomber that seemed modern in 1939 but was obsolete by 1941. This twin-engine light bomber was faster than contemporary fighters when it entered service, but rapid aviation development left it hopelessly outmatched. Blenheim crews suffered terrible losses in daylight raids over Europe, forcing a shift to night operations. Despite its vulnerabilities, nearly 5,000 were built, serving in every theater until better aircraft became available. Armstrong Whitworth Whitley. An ungainly-looking bomber that pioneered RAF night bombing tactics. This twin-engine heavy bomber had a distinctive nose-down flying attitude that made it look perpetually in a dive. It flew the first RAF raids over Germany and Italy, dropping propaganda leaflets and later bombs. By 1943, it had been relegated to training and anti-submarine duties, but it had done its job when Britain stood alone. Hanley Page Hampton. The flying suitcase with its distinctive narrow fuselage. This twin-engine medium bomber formed half of RAF Bomber Command's strength in 1940, flying dangerous daylight raids that proved unsustainably costly. Its slim fuselage limited defensive armament, making it easy prey for fighters. It was withdrawn from bombing operations by 1942, with many converted to torpedo bombers for coastal command. Avro Manchester. The failed bomber that gave birth to the legendary Lancaster. This twin-engine heavy bomber was plagued by its unreliable Vulture engines, which frequently failed during missions. After only 200 were built, Avro redesigned it with 4 Merlin engines instead of 2 Vultures. That redesign became the Lancaster, one of the war's greatest bombers, proving that even failures can lead to triumph. De Havilland Mosquito. The wooden wonder that proved speed and altitude were better than armor. This twin-engine bomber was built almost entirely of wood, making it a low-priority target for metal rationing authorities. It became the fastest operational bomber of the war, so quick that it needed no defensive armament. Mosquitoes struck targets across Europe with near impunity, including precision raids on Gestapo headquarters and German factories. Its versatility was legendary, serving as a bomber, fighter, reconnaissance aircraft, and pathfinder. From the flying fortresses that filled German skies to the wooden wonders that struck with surgical precision, these Allied bombers delivered over 2 million tons of ordnance onto Axis targets. Each design represented different philosophies of aerial warfare. Strategic heavies pounded industrial centers. Medium bombers struck tactical targets. Attack aircraft supported ground forces. Together, they proved that control of the skies was the key to victory. Which one surprised you most? Let me know in the comments below.